Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Remington McElhaney from AE Tuts, and today we have a cloud writing tutorial for you guys. So I'll go ahead and show you what I mean right now. We are going to be creating this. So you can see it kind of animates in from little wisps of clouds and reveals your logo. And what's really cool about what I'm going to show you today is it's not just making text out of clouds, but the techniques you're going to learn to make this, it's pretty basic, but what you're going to learn how to make this is you can apply it to any shape you want, and let me go ahead and show you what I mean by that. If we go right here, you can see the same thing that's applied to the text also can be used to make, a train, peace sign, a heart, a boat. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you want to make, you can make with this pretty much. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and create a new comp. We're going to call this cloud writing. 1280 by 720 square pixels, 24 frames per second, and 10 seconds is fine. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and import my sky picture, but please feel free to use anything you want for the sky. Go outside, take a picture. It's way cooler. Alright, there we go. So I'm going to create my text now. And I'm just going to go ahead and say cloud writing. I'm also probably going to scale that down a little bit. Turn my leading down. Now, I'm using a font called Berlin right now, but you really just want to find a nice kind of fat, bold font that works for clouds, obviously, because that's what we're making. So if you use a font like Times New Roman, it's probably not going to give you the effect you're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and select my text layer and go Layer, Auto Trace. For those of you that don't know Auto Trace, what it does is it just creates masks around your shapes and solids and stuff. So that's what we want to do. So okay, go ahead and delete our text layer because that's no longer necessary, and we are going to call this text. Alright, we're going to go Layer, New Solid. We're going to call this Fractal Noise, and I'm betting you have an idea what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go Effect, Noise and Grain, Fractal Noise. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take our text layer and set its track matte to Luma Matte. For those of you that don't know what track mattes are, there's tons of resources online, so make sure you check those out. But basically it's getting its luminance from the fractal noise right here, which gives you that cloud look. So we're going to go inside our fractal noise, and in the transform options, we're just going to scale it down a little bit. But this is where you can really kind of get the look you want. Just kind of match the sky around you if you want kind of bigger clouds or smaller. And that's good enough for me. So we're going to go ahead and go in our text layer and hit MM, bring up all the masks, select the first mask and hold down Shift. And this is really where you're going to do most of the stuff in this effects. Hold down Shift so we select them all. And we are going to feather the mask. And right away you can instantly see we're getting a cloud look. And as you can see, you can feather this as much as you want until it just disappears, or you can kind of zero it in. And also, the less feathering you get, the more readable it is, but the more you feather it, the more realistic it looks. So just gotta find what you're looking for. I try to find it right in the middle where you can still read it, but it has that touch of realism. So I'm gonna hold down Shift to select both layers and hit Control D and hit MM, and we're gonna do the same thing again, except we're gonna feather this one out a little bit more, and this time we're actually going to expand it a little bit, because if you look, in the holes in the D and stuff kind of start to get plugged up if you don't expand this a tiny bit. So we're going to do just that. Alright, and I think you guys are seeing a pattern now. Hold down Shift, hit Control D, and this is pretty much how you get your look. You can do this 50 times if you want, you can do it 2 times if you want. It's entirely up to you. Feather this one out even more, expand it a little bit more too, until you get just about that. Alrighty, we are also going to go ahead and go Layer, New Solid, make it white. We're going to duplicate our fractal noise. We're going to put that on top of our white solid, and we're going to set its track matte to Luma Matte. We are also now going to go to our ellipse tool, and we're just going to make a mask just roughly the size of our text. Get a little smaller actually. and we're going to feather this out. You're just basically with this trying to, if you look at this right here, you kind of get those blank spots and it kind of doesn't look all one. So this is just to kind of tie it all to bring it together. But obviously if you look at this right now, you can't really see what that's saying, so we're going to hit Control and select all of our text layers and select all of our layers, and we're going to hit T to bring up the opacity, and we're just going to turn that down quite a bit, just till it kind of brings it together without taking away. And we're going to take this one down a little bit too. As you can see, what you're really looking for is those layers that are really taken away from the readability of this look. This layer, not so much. It doesn't really affect how you can read it, so you can leave it as high as you want. I just take it down a little bit. And this layer right here is where you really see the readability go away if you leave that up. I mean, that W looks like a rectangle, same with the N, so we're going to lower that one quite a bit. I mean, you still want a little bit of that feathering, but not so much that it takes away. And same with the bottom layer, we'll just take that one down just a tiny bit. Maybe not that much. Okay, so it's starting to look pretty good, except now if you look at it, there's one slight problem, and it's very straight and rigid and looks like a font and looks like you just typed it on out, and if you look in the sky, you're probably not going to see that, so we're going to fix that. We're going to select our text layer, we're going to go Effect, Distort, Turbulent Displacement. And we're going to solo this layer so we can see what we're doing. And this is entirely up to you for what you're looking for. I'm not looking for too distorted, just enough to kind of lose that rigidness, and that's already pretty good. So just mess with the amount and size until you really kind of just find that look you're going for. We're going to unsolo this layer, and we're going to select our turbulent displacement and hit Control C to copy it. Then we're going to go to our other text layers and paste it on them. Alright, before I go ahead and show you how to animate the text, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to apply this technique to any other shape or image that you want to. So I'm going to turn those off for just a second. I'm going to bring in a peace sign. And I'm just going to quickly get rid of the white in that image. And bingo. Alright, so now we're going to go layer auto trace. And this is why I used auto trace on the text instead of just creating masks from text, if you guys were wondering. That way you can apply this to other images using the same techniques. Hit OK. Alright. And now something you're going to have to watch out for is if you watch this, if I hit MM and bring up all the masks and feather it, it hits that box, you know. And that is not obviously what we're looking for. So, just to fix that, we're just going to select all the masks, hold down Shift, copy them, and then make a new layer, new solid, make it white, and we're going to paste that on into there. And I know that looks exactly the same, except the difference is when you feather this one, delete those, when you feather this layer, it won't hit that box, it can go on forever. Okay, so basically you're going to take the same exact thing that you just did. You're just going to take your fractal noise right here, you're going to put it on top of that sign, set it to Luma Matte, and then you're going to go MM, and you're just going to feather it out like that, and then duplicate it as necessary. Alright, so that is how you apply it to other layers. Alright, now we're just going to add a quick animation to our text to add some realism. MM to bring up all the masks, and we are going to go ahead and move ahead about 7 seconds or so. We're going to select all of our masks. We're going to set a keyframe for the feather. We're also going to go ahead and quickly turn these off so you see what we're doing, otherwise it gets kind of confusing. We're going to go back to the beginning, and we're just going to feather this out until it's just right about there. Alright, good. So now we're going to just simply repeat the process with our next text layer. We're going to turn that one on, go go forward to 7 seconds. We are going to select all the masks, and we are going to set a keyframe for the feather, go back, and we are just going to go ahead and feather this one out a little bit, and maybe we'll mess with the expansion a little bit too. Actually, let's select them all first. Just take the expansion back a little bit so it kind of grows into it. And again, none of these values are important for what you're doing. It's all about the look you're going for. So let's turn our next text layer on, and again, lots of patterns. Not too difficult at all, but cool looking effect. Alright, and set a keyframe for the expansion in the feather. Go back in time. This one's already feathered out pretty good. Probably leave that, probably just turn the expansion in. That way it'll kind of grow into it. Alright, we're also going to go ahead and take the opacity down a little bit and keyframe that for these. So we're going to select all of these layers and hit T. This way they'll all fade in, but let's go ahead and bring it to 7 seconds and make sure set keyframe so everything looks the way we want it to. And then we'll go over here, turn off our mask, and we'll just kind of take away the ones that are not as necessary right off the bat. Now if we watch this, just kind of comes in and fades on into our cloud writing text. Alright, so a few more things before we wrap this up. We're going to go ahead and go into the turbulent displacement, and we are going to set a keyframe for that as well. For the evolution, we're going to go back to 0. And then we're going to go ahead and go on ahead until about 7 seconds, or maybe 8. And we're just going to put this at maybe 2 times. See what that does to it. If it seems a little bit too dramatic, I think that may be, just take it down a little bit. That looks a little bit more natural. Alright, so we'll go ahead and take our turbulent displacement, Control C, and apply it to our other text layers, so everything animates all together. Alright, so let's go ahead and preview what we just made. It kind of slowly fades on into our text. And you can time remap that if you want the transition to be a little bit slower or anything like that. Alright, well, I hope I haven't taken up too much of you guys' time. Hopefully you can find some stuff in here to go ahead and start putting stuff in the skies. And this is Remington McElhaney. I'll see you